Welcome to Golf Smarter Mulligans, episode 12. I'm Fred Green. So how was your last round? I hope it went well, but you still see some room for improvement. If you're interested in a non-traditional golf topic that will help you cut another couple strokes off your game, then this episode is going to help. We're never going to shy away from mental game or mechanics or putting, but today we're digging into a topic on the most important tool in your bag, your body. Our guest is Mike Pederson, a golf exercise expert and fitness trainer. Golf Smarter Mulligans is supported by twoguyswithgolfballs.com, offering premium used golf balls at a fraction of the cost of new ones. Why buy new balls when you can play with premium quality used balls that may have been hit only once? Even before you make your order, every single ball has been hand inspected, sanitized, and graded for quality, so even though they're used, you could be confident that opening a sleeve of balls from twoguyswithgolfballs.com is going to be just as good as new balls that cost twice as much. Golf Smarter and Golf Smarter Mulligans listeners get an additional 10% off every order, every time, with a coupon code GolfSmarter. That's twoguyswithgolfballs.com, and that discount offer expires April 1, 2020. Mulligans is also brought to you by Autoslash.com. Autoslash.com is a rental car booking service that will help you save time, hassle, and money. Autoslash.com applies every available coupon code to your next car rental, including coupons you're eligible for based on your various memberships. Then they track your reservation until the day you pick up the car, and they email you when they find a better rate, sometimes daily. The average user saves 30% off any other booking site, and Autoslash.com is completely free. So bookmark it now on your browser and use it for your next car rental so that you can get the best rate possible for the completely free Autoslash.com. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you, Fred.
It's great to have you on today.
Appreciate you having me on.
Well, you know, I think fitness is a huge part of golf that is overlooked.
Yes, it absolutely is, but I think it's becoming mainstream now. Thank you to Tiger Woods, Annika Sorenstam, and even some of the guys on the senior tour. Larry Nelson was one of the first guys 5 or 6 years ago, and his game, dramatically improved. So, the awareness, and you can't turn on really any professional tournament on TV now without the commentators within probably 5 minutes talking about somebody's conditioning program. So it's definitely mainstream as far as awareness. Now the key is just to convince more, everyday golfers how important it is.
Yeah, it's really true. How can we get that message out that it's not only better for you on the course to at least stretch or have of course, have a regular fitness program, but to stretch before you get out there, but it's also going to improve your round, isn't it?
Dramatically. I've written dozens of articles all over the web and in magazines regarding, pre-golf warm-ups, pre-round warm-ups, and, the infamous, run to the course, hack a couple of driver swings, and then go to the first hole and triple bogey the hole. So, it's interesting when you try to, what I try to do is I try to educate golfers, and the first thing I try to convince them, and some of them chuckle and they try to get comical with me, but I say, you are a golf athlete. The golf swing is a very athletic movement. It's traumatizing to the body, to say the least, swinging a club at upwards of 100 miles an hour while staying in golf posture, without swaying, without coming up and down and around. And it's, it's one of the more difficult athletic movements in all athletics, to be honest with you, to swing a 3.5, 4 foot implement at 100 miles an hour in a certain dynamic position. So that takes a super high level of strength, flexibility, coordination, stabilization. I can go on and on about that. But so, I think once you start educating the golfer on the physical side of golf, they start waking up a little bit. Again, there's still a disconnect with probably 90% of the amateur golfers out there between agreeing and saying, you know what, I think you're probably right, and actually doing something about it.
Yeah, and what about even while you're on the course? I mean, you shouldn't just, stretch a little bit before you hit your bucket of balls and then that's the end of it for the day, right?
Well, yeah, just because, the human body is such that it goes through a warm-up state, and when you warm up, that's when you're at your athletic best, obviously, and that's for all sports, really. And then fatigue sets in, and dehydration, even hunger. I can't tell you that hundreds of golfers that I get paired with that I've met on the course that eat nothing, and they take a look at me, and I've got my fridge in my golf bag, and I'm eating the whole time there, and I never quote unquote hit the wall. So it's it's one of those things where once the body starts shutting down from a fatigue standpoint, from a fuel standpoint, that's when you see the decline in performance. And one way, well, there's several ways, but one is obviously fueling your body with fruits and even a nutrition bar during the round. And then secondly, as you start noticing your swing tightening up, doing some golf-specific swing stretches on the golf course, and that can typically prevent the collapse of your round, and it'll get you through the rest of the round.
Excellent point, and I'm gonna just drive it into you to give us some tips before you leave today.
Sure.
But we did an interview recently with Jim DeLobby, and he had this theory called sip and nibble, which I've started to use on the course, and he has this idea of, to keep your level of focus going, that instead of eating a large meal before or a large meal at the turn, is you should just take little bites almost for every shot.
That's right.
Tell me your advice on how to stay at peak level with food.
Well, and that's what I mentioned with my quote mini fridge in my golf bag is I bring almost the same thing every single time, and again, I don't want to spend time talking about myself, because this is all about the listener and really trying to bring benefit to the listener in their game. But the big thing is spreading out your nutrition, and this is what people should do in their everyday diet to keep their metabolic rate up, burning fat, giving themselves energy, keeping their lean muscle built up. On the course, it's the same thing, but it's kind of a micro version of it, which is, if you can keep your blood sugar level stable by like you said, nibbling on some fruit, on some mixed nuts, that's a big thing. A lot of healthy golfers eat is kind of those that with the mixed trail, I guess, whatever they do with it's got some raisins in it, it's got some nuts in it, and things like that, which is protein and some carbohydrates. So that's really a nice blend for nutrition. It's having a little bit of carbohydrate, a little bit of protein, but not the big sandwich at the turn. Not a beer or two at the turn, of course, but having something that's just little hand food that you can just kind of reach in a bag and throw in your mouth and take a couple of bites, and you're done for that time being. And then you take a couple of swings, and you go back in and you grab a couple more bites, and that's the kind of that nibbling approach throughout the round of golf. And that's why when I play, I get people always kind of cracking on me and just saying, wow, you're eating all the time. I said, well, I'm sort of, I got a lot of lean muscle in my body, and lean muscle tissue is active and it needs fuel. And when you don't put fuel into a lean body or lean muscle mass, that lean muscle mass starves itself. And when it starves itself, that's when the body starts shutting down.
Awesome. Give us some.
And then it links to the mind as well.
What are your favorite foods for this?
Well, I eat tons of nutrition bars, and the nutrition bars I eat are lower in sugar, of course, so that that doesn't mess with your blood sugar levels. Higher in protein, just because anybody who has a higher level of lean muscle mass needs that's a higher level of protein requirement they need in their body as well to maintain that lean muscle mass. So I tend to buy a little bit higher level protein and kind of a moderate to low carbohydrate base, because again, carbohydrates for some people for sure, you can get weight. A lot of people have weight problems with eating too many carbohydrates. Now again, when you're on the course, that's a different story, because hopefully you're walking and carrying a bag and burning lots of calories, so you would need that carbohydrate, because carbohydrates is that immediate energy source. Protein takes a little bit more work to digest by the kidneys and by the body. So really, for some people, it might be sort of a 50-50 carbohydrate protein. For me personally, I tend to just lean a little bit more to the protein side of it, and of course have a little bit of carbs. I'll have some low salt pretzels. I'll have some nuts. I'll eat low salt peanuts, things like that as well.
Great. What? Come on, I don't care if we plug it. What nutrition bar do you like? Come on.
Well, they should be paying me, because a lot of people see me eat these things. But I eat one called Pure Protein, and I eat it Sort of, because it's definitely a very, very, very high protein bar, low sugar protein bar, and it actually is one of the bars that tastes decent. I get the I don't know what's it called, chocolate actually I think is what it's called, and and I love chocolate anyways, although I don't eat much of it. But it's called pure protein. But any for if that bar isn't available in a store for the golfers listening, if they, a balanced bar, any bar that really has a nice balance. The big thing you want to watch out for is high sugar, and that's when, if you look at a bar in the back and you look at the contents and say the bar says, 18 grams of sugar, 20 grams of sugar, that's too much sugar. I think the bar I eat, don't quote me, but 6 grams, 8 grams maybe of sugar. It might even be less than that. But you want to watch the sugar intake, because pretty soon it's almost like you're eating candy, which you don't want to do on the golf course.
Okay. That's fair. I like that. You have a lot of stuff on your website. I'm curious, why did you select golf as your method of physical training?
Boy, well, that's a great question. I'm an obsessive compulsive, and I was fortunate enough to take my own athletic career almost to the Olympic Games in decathlon.
Congratulations.
Well, yeah, long time ago now. But
I don't care. I took mine to the TV for the Olympics.
Right. But so I'm a very, very serious athlete, and now I'm 42 years old. So obviously I'm an ex-athlete. I'm in that category. I hate to admit. But, just about when I graduated college and just was winding down my kind of post-college track and field career, I think I turned about, I must have been 27 or 28. I picked up a club. I'd never really played golf. I'd hacked around a little bit, and, I could bomb a drive here or there. But all of a sudden I picked one up, and I had some time. I picked a club up, and I just got obsessed with it. I mean,
I wonder how that can happen.
Yeah, I think the listeners can relate to that one.
I sure can.
But I can tell you right now, I got really obsessed with it. I was personal training at the time, which is what I've done for 24 years of my life, a certified personal trainer, and I was training privately in people's homes. I built up a business to where it was pretty well known in my area, and I'd been self-employed for many years. And I had, and I'm not kidding, Fred, I had no less than 7 or 8 golf instruction books in my back seat of my car. I'm not kidding. A couple of training aids, of course, a club and a putter in my car at all times. And I'm telling you, at any point where I'd show up at a client's house, 5 minutes early or something, the book was out, and I was studying, swing technique. I had the training aid in my hand. If I could, go to a course, I'd grab the putter and run out and putt for 5 or 10. I mean, we're talking way obsessive compulsive here, but that kind of started the rampage of me really learning the golf swing. And if I were reborn again right this minute, I would be, no question about it, I would be a golf instructor and still do the fitness for golf like I do now. But if somebody came to me, I would cover total golf performance, and that's a phrase I've used in many articles, total golf performance. I'm not the mental guy, so, if I did something like that, I would definitely probably link up or hook up with a real good mental guy. But I would do golf instruction, and I would deal with all the physical limitations that my students have and prescribe solutions for those physical limitations. So that's sort of how I got caught up in it.
Okay. Listen, we can all relate to the obsession with golf. Once you get hooked, forget it.
Oh, my gosh, crazy.
Work becomes an excuse to pay for golf.
That's right. That's right. You have to actually go out and make more money to buy that new driver, or to take that extra golf lesson, or to play that extra round of golf during the week.
Yeah, it's just to play. Forget about all the equipment that you need just to play.
That's right. Right.
Say, Fred, what do you want for your birthday? Rounds of golf.
Yeah.
I don't want a book. I don't want a cute little head cover. Just buy me a gift certificate for a round of golf. If everyone buys me that. Yeah,
yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, you gave me an opportunity to go through your website earlier when we spoke and even download one of the exercise programs. I have lower back issues. I have chronic lower back issues, and they've gotten worse over the years that I've been playing golf. And I have take a class twice a week called Ab Lab. I'm an Ab Lab rat, and that helps. And I do some morning stretching and stuff. But I still have, every morning when I wake up, I still am in pain. After a round of golf, I'm walking crooked. I still have problems. But I have to tell you, testimonial here. Since I've been using your 15-minute, which takes me 25, 15-minute morning workout for lower back, I am feeling so much better.
Oh, that's
I
great.
went out and bought a medicine ball. Okay, so I put $12 into this. I bought a 9-pound ball. But I am telling you, I'm feeling so much stronger. My stomach is tighter and flatter. And I've only been doing it for a week and a half, buddy.
Well, things can happen quickly if you do it consistently.
And it's making a difference in my life, in the way I feel, and I'm telling you, it's definitely making a difference in after a round of golf. I'm not hurting as much as I was. So
all right.
Your system is right on the money if you pay attention to it, right?
That's right.
Is that the key to it? Is just staying with it? For an obsessive-compulsive person like yourself, easy squeezy.
Yeah, that's right. Well, and I really have to kind of get out of my own head and my own skin and think of that, the average person out there, family commitments and work commitments and then even the golf commitments. So you throw all that in the mix and that makes time, real tight and it's real easy to, and I don't want to get on the phone today and, be real hardcore about this, but it's a situation where you make your choices to spend your time. And, I know a lot of people are busy and I sympathize with that, but when somebody tells me, I just don't have the time. And you just mentioned that you did my 50, and I'll be real specific here. It's called my 15-minute core routine is what you're referring to.
Yes, it is.
But when you do, there's no excuse. I mean, when I talk to people, and especially like a client who just hired me for private training, let's say, and we get talking, I say, well, can you give me some reasons why, you maybe haven't done it or you're in that? Well, I just don't have the time. And so this is kind of comical now. I've done it for, 24 years of certified personal training now. But I say, okay, let's go through a day. Let's just go through a typical day for you. And then hypothetically, here's what I'll hear. Works at 8, so I get up at 7 or 6:45, and I let them go through the whole thing. I get up at 6:45 and get ready for work and go to work, and then come back from work, and and then of course I got my family, my kids, and then the day is gone. And we found, realistically, without waking up at 3:30 in the morning like I do, unfortunately.
You do?
Yeah, it's well, again, obsessive compulsive, Fred. You're talking to a crazy guy here, but that's again my choice, right? We all have our choices.
When do you go to bed?
I go to bed at 8:30, 9 o'clock. Not real late, but because I run 5 internet businesses, all specific to golf, fitness, and training. I've got some odd hours, so when I wake up that early, I get my 60-minute cardio done religiously, so it's out of my life, done. 3:30 to 4:30, my cardio's done, and so that there's no excuse, because like anybody else, it's very easy that if your day starts and it keeps going, pretty soon the excuses creep in your mind, and you say, God, I'm just kind of tired. I'm actually kind of hungry. And then the excuses come in. Well, I heard that if you're hungry, that means you're low on fuel. Then you shouldn't work out. Okay, well, I better not work out today. On and on and on and on. And it just you play these little mental games with yourself. So, but it's really kind of funny to expose people to finding several hours, not 15 or 20 minutes. When you first talk to these people, they'll tell you, realistically, I have no time. I mean, they'll say the word quote unquote no time, and then when you go through their day and you just kind of expose these little moments, and then I do ask some people, can you wake up a little earlier? But a lot of times you don't even have to do that. Lunchtime, right when you get off work, how about just 30 minutes right after work? Whether it's at your facility or you get home and you tell your wife and your kids, okay, this is 30 minutes for me, real quick here, and you just put it in your schedule like you do an appointment and do it.
Okay, you're scaring me, man.
Oh. Well, I eat, sleep, live, and breathe this stuff, right? So
yeah.
I'm a little bit more on the extreme, but I definitely try to just want to get people exposed to it, because use it or lose it. If you don't use your body physically on a consistent basis, that's that rapid decline in your physical components, whether it's strength, flexibility, energy, endurance. And so, people hit, even as early as their 35 and 40-year-old age brackets, they start feeling, God, I'm not, I'm losing it here. Where they look back on the 20s, maybe in the early 30s, and say, God, I could go forever. Well, if they stop for a second and evaluated their current, daily activities and their current lifestyle, they might find out that, well, I'm at a computer for 8 hours. I'm drinking a beer at lunch with my buddy. I'm doing this, I'm eating pizza, I'm doing this or this. Well, no wonder I'm at where I'm at. So,
just curious, how long does it take you to play a round of golf?
Well,
and how much caffeine do you consume?
I do drink coffee, and so that's a good thing for the listeners to hear. Is that I don't believe in this phone call is really painting a picture of me here, and I think the picture might be getting slighted just a little bit here. But I am a normal guy. I drink coffee in the morning, and I don't want to tell you how when I started drinking coffee at what age. I was a hyper kid. Let's put it that way. But yeah, right. As if you couldn't tell, right?
I've raised one. Go ahead.
There you go. But so I just it's just one of those situations that you have to evaluate your life and where you're at, and again, if that phrase, if you want to keep getting what you're getting, keep doing what you're doing.
So how long does it take you to play a round of golf?
Well, speed golf interests me,
okay.
but I don't think I could ever do that.
All right, listen, we're going to take a quick break because I need to take a nap, and and when we come back, I'm going to ask you why golf hurts so much, and I need some drills.
And here's your host for Golf Smarter, Fred Green.
All right, we're back with Mike Pederson, fitness trainer, but specifically for golf. And I really want to know, why does it hurt to play golf? I mean, it shouldn't, right?
Well,
why does my back hurt? Why do so many people get back pain from golf?
Take a person who's, maybe average fitness or for the average golfer, definitely below average fitness because, most people, like we talked about with lifestyles and commitments, aren't really taking care of their body. So take a person like that. Now put a 1 pound, 3.5 foot implement in their hand and tell them to bend over and swing it at 85 miles an hour. And then do that, let's say they're doing it, they maybe hit a couple of balls before, they're playing a couple of practice swings before every shot. So they're swinging, maybe 200 times at, let's say even 70 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour, 200 times in golf posture, which is bent at the hips, knees flexed. Don't you think there would be a little bit of a physical damage happening to the body there?
You would think so, but then you see people playing who are in their 70s and 80s and seem to be doing okay.
Well, those are the guys. Those are the guys, Fred, that are swimming, that are keeping their body fluid and loose, and blood flow going through all the muscles and going through the extremities and the legs and the hands and the feet. Actually, you know what? I got a great story. I'll make it real short. But I played with a guy here in Scottsdale. About 3 or 4 months ago, and he was, I think, 75, looked about 55. So obviously he's probably lived a pretty good life, and he was retired and all that. But he just had a skip to his beat. I mean, this guy, he played from the blue tees with me, which I think the course I played was probably about 6,700 yards. So again, not a monster course, but 6,700 to 6,700, that's a decent course.
Sure.
Full swing all the way through the round. And I said, geez, what is your story? And the guy was just happy-go-lucky guy. He says, Mike, and he was kind of like Jack LaLanne, he reminded me of. He just says, Mike, I do swim aerobics 3 times a week. I stretch every morning after a shower. He goes, I don't do a lot of weightlifting. He goes, and you mentioned you do that, so I'd like to talk to you about it, which he ended up buying, I think, a DVD of mine. Later that night, I saw his name come through after buying a DVD or something, but he didn't do the strength part of it, but he just kept himself moving and active, and I think he shot an 81 from the blue tee, 75 years old, shot an 81 that day, just smiling the whole way, and it was interesting because I thought, let me watch him through the whole round of golf. Let me see if he starts falling apart, because that's what typically would happen with an older with a lot of us. But,
and what'd you notice?
Oh, my God. His driver swing on 18 was identical to number 1.
Wow.
I mean, and again, the guy had energy flowing out his ears. So, again, that's not a common scenario. That's not a common person. There's a guy that really his personal health is very important to him. But that's why you mentioned, why do some guys in their 70s play great and they don't hurt? Well, again, if you make a conscious effort to just do a little bit with your body. It doesn't. You don't have to be. I've written articles on this. You don't have to be a gym rat. You don't have to even belong. My products all are designed to do in the home with minimal equipment, and I did that on purpose to remove the excuse of, well, I don't want to go to a gym, or I don't have a gym in my area, or it's just not convenient for me. I don't want to spend the money. I don't spend $50 a month on a gym membership. When I put together my very first Ultimate Golf Fitness DVD, my novice one, I made a point from that starting point on for all my products to never use machines from a gym, ever. Because I wanted people to realize with those beach balls, which are called, the formal word's called stability ball, which every golfer, we'll talk about this too, hopefully, before the conversation's done, about just some basic equipment everybody can get. Okay. But with just a stability ball, with some exercise tubing, with handles, all that stuff you can buy you could buy it at a local Target for less than $30. You've got your golf fitness gym in your home, and the square footage you need, 60 square feet to be able to, you need about a 4-foot area around your body, and there's your in-home golf fitness gym right there.
Okay, let's do it. Let's go right to it. Tell me, what basic equipment do I need?
Okay, well, I just told you some, but let's go through it. Let's do a little checklist here. Checklist number 1, fitness ball, Swift ball, or stability ball. Those are all different names for the same piece of equipment. It's like the big blow-up beach ball you see, and you see them, and you'll see pictures of them in magazines, but these can be purchased at Target stores, definitely without a doubt all the fitness equipment stores if you're in a bigger city. They're sold everywhere. I mean, the only place they're not sold now is a grocery store, and I'll bet you
have a grocery. Too. But these are the ones with different colors and different sizes, right? How would you know what size to choose?
Well, I can tell you right now, they're sized by centimeter. For golfers who are 5'6" and under, get the 55-centimeter ball. For 5'6" and above, get the 65-centimeter ball. And unfortunately, there's one that's 75 centimeters. It's gargantuan. It's really big. It's cumbersome. It's hard to use because it's so big. So really, the two.
But it's a great chair.
What's that?
It's a great chair.
Oh boy, I tell you, a lot of companies now, with people with bad backs, will substitute their chairs for a stability ball.
So I've done that.
I do mine off and on because I'm such a spaz. I'm rolling all over that thing, and I end up playing on the thing more than I end up working.
That's okay. But I do that. I now have a
Good
chair that mimics the ball.
Boy, that's awesome. If more people did that, you would see a significant reduction in back pain for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got stability ball, critical. Okay. That's like $30 right there. So there's one purchase. Second thing, without a doubt, exercise tubing, but they have to have handles. When you get the handles, just think of, your imagination is your limit. And I'm actually coming out with a tubing only golf DVD that we're shooting the footage for next week. Actually,
this is pliable rubber tubing, right?
It's pliable. I tell people what's that?
It's like a big rubber band. It's not
right.
PVC piping we're talking about.
No. You just read my mind. I tell people it's like buying a big rubber band with a handle on each end. These things can range from $10 per tubing with handles up to $30. Unfortunately, it's that old adage: you get what you pay for.
Sure.
If you see them in some of these stores that are like $10, $12, they're going to be sized incorrectly. They're not going to be near as good. I don't want to scare people and say they'll break, but they're just not that good. I would strongly recommend, if you're going to get the tubing, because tubing you're pulling on. So now you've got a little bit of a risk involved here, folks. If the tubing breaks and hits you in the eye, there goes your eye. I don't want to scare anybody, but the tubing, you should be a little more really conscious of quality, and that's where I would probably go to a local fitness equipment store or get on the web and type in exercise tubing with handles, and you'll come up with a gazillion websites, and just price it out. The price for a good tubing with handles would be probably around $20 to $25, and that price range. Some people might balk at it and say, "No, I'm gonna get the $10 ones." Well, that's everybody's choice, but at $20, you're getting really quality, comfortable handles to grip. Number one. And tubing that's going to be real pliable and that's going to last.
Okay, but tubing comes in various sizes as well, correct?
various tensions, sizes that you could. It's various tensions, and most websites, including mine, will tell you, for the beginning exerciser, you want this tubing. For the average exerciser, average strength, you want this one. So you just you want to look for, you want to kind of put a fitness level on yourself and be very modest, folks. Don't live in the past and say, hey, I'm a fit person, so I'm going to get the advanced tubing because I'm a fit person. That's the wrong way to do it. You want to err on the easier side because the light tubing you can do more with. You can make golf swings with it. The heavier the tubing, pretty soon if you get the tubing that's too heavy, you can't make a golf swing with it because you can't even pull it down. Say you attach it on the door, like how my tubing is. I've got this door attachment. If you had heavy tubing, you can't even budge it. So now you're stuck with tubing you can't even use.
Okay. All right. Now, what's the next piece of gear?
Well, you've got tubing, you've got the stability ball, and then I call it hand weights because a lot of people, especially the people in their 60s and 70s, might not know the terminology of modern day equipment. But most people know what a hand weight or a pair of hand weights is. But the other name is dumbbells, and it's free weights. And, the dumbbells I use a lot in all my programs because they are just what they are. Free weights. They require, control like the golf swing, stability like the golf swing. They involve many muscles like the golf swing, as opposed to going into a gym. I tell a lot of people, they say, well, I go to a gym and I do my golf workout in the gym. And I say, okay, that's great. What do you do? And they say, well, I get on this machine, and the minute I hear the word machine, I say, okay, that's great. You're doing something. You're not helping your golf swing. And they say, what? I say, well, number one, you say you sit in a machine, right? And they say, yeah. I say, well, do you sit in the golf swing? No. I say, well, okay, so when you sit in the machine, what are you doing? Well, I lift my legs up. I do that one. I push the handles out away from me. I work my triceps. I say, okay, so just picture your golf swing and tell me. So now we've isolated that a lot of these machines you're sitting in golf you're standing. Secondly, the machine works a muscle, right? You get on the machine and it works. You look at the label on the machine. It says, well, this one works my triceps, and they say, yeah. I say, okay, well, so does the golf swing work just one muscle? I mean, so is the whole golf swing just a muscle? They say, well, no. I say, okay, so can you see where I'm going here? If you get on a machine, it's great for general fitness. I would never want to downplay that. That's fantastic and good for you. But if you want to get a golf-specific program, you would never get on a machine because most machines you sit in, and most machines isolate only one muscle group. And in the golf swing, it's a sequential movement from the address to the top of the backswing all the way to the follow-through. It's a sequential movement utilizing all the major muscles in your body. Big difference.
Yeah. And obviously these dumbbells, the free weights, they have a lot of different sizes and weights.
They have a little bit, and again, the big thing there would be, especially going in the store, go in and pick them up. Pick them up and kind of move them around, and even make a golf swing with one hand. And again, I'm not saying that's a particular exercise, but just picture doing a movement for 12 or 15 repetitions with a certain weight. When I get an email like that, they say, well, what weight should I start at? And I say, well, gosh, you're in Paris sending me this email. I'm not with you, so what you want to do, it's a trial and error situation, and you always want to err on the light side of it. So sure. you would pick a really light weight, and you would do it for 12 or 15 repetitions. And if you can get through an entire set or two sets of 12 or 15 reps of any particular movement, and you don't feel any fatigue at all, you just breeze right through it, then that would be an indicator that weight's a little light, that you could go up a little bit. But the only way you would ever know is trial and error.
Is there more?
Well,
we're going through all this equipment, but we're not talking about what to do with them, and we're not going to have time to do that because I definitely want to get into some stretching tips for the round of golf.
Absolutely.
So
you bet.
Where are we going from this? Let's.
Okay.
Is there more equipment to purchase?
Well, there's one more fun piece, and then we'll drop the equipment. But if you can get the stability ball, the tubing with handles,
and the hand weights,
a couple of pair of hand weights, you're set. Now, the only other thing would be what sounds like you purchased, the fun thing, which is the weighted medicine ball, and that's like the weighted medicine ball. was used hundreds, believe it or not. You can even get on the web and type this in, but it was used hundreds of years ago for training, actual training, and it sort of went by the wayside. And then in the early 1900s, it was brought back, went out of fashion, and now it's strongly in fashion again. All the strength and conditioning coaches and high schools and colleges and pro sports, everybody's using the weighted medicine ball. Just to let people know, it looks like a basketball. Mm-hmm. But it's weighted, and again, there's many, many different weights, and it would be a trial and error of going in there into one of those stores, picking up and making a golf swing with it, and moving it, twisting with it, to see what weight you'd want to pick. But they go as light as 2 pounds, and they go as heavy as 20 pounds, which is a beast. That's a real heavy one. But the beauty of a medicine ball is you can do dynamic strength movements very similar to your golf swing with it, and you can do a ton of core strength exercises with a weighted medicine ball. So it's round, you grab it, and you just start twisting and turning and moving, and so it brings a lot of fun to your program. It really is. It's a pretty cool piece to add to it, but
and
that would be it.
And if I may provide one tip for people who do have the medicine ball, if you live in an apartment, or if your bedroom or the room you're exercising is on an upper level of your house, don't drop the ball.
Oh boy, I could tell you, it sounds like an earthquake, doesn't it?
Yeah, and being in California, I know what they feel like. So.
Oh yeah, it sounds like an earthquake. It scares the crap out of anybody below you, even people above you at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, let's get back out to the golf course now, and give us some stretching drills, some tips on what we need to do to get loose for a round, and then during the round, what we need to do.
Yeah, okay. When you think of pre-round or pre-practice, for that matter, going to the range, you would never think of an athlete. Does an athlete run out to the football field and start playing?
No.
Do you see the pro basketball players? Do they get out there 5 minutes before and then tip off and they're going?
I love looking at boxers who walk into the ring to start a match and they're completely covered in sweat.
Yeah. They're in their locker rooms, their separate locker rooms with their trainers, punching, swinging, and Fred, that's a great analogy. Is that somebody might look at a boxer and watch him come out and get in the ring and go. But if anybody knows boxing, they know they spent probably 45 minutes doing shadow punches and boxing and hitting their trainer's hands and really warming up. And like you said, they're sweating when they walk in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think of golf, you need to do movement-oriented stretches, which we call in the fitness industry dynamic stretches, to prepare your body for dynamic movements like the golf swing. So, I've written many articles. If you even type that in Google, you'll probably come across some of my articles. If you type in warm-up for golf warm-up exercises. But what you want to do is you want to think, what movements can I do that would mimic my golf swing, get my body moving, get the blood flowing before I even touch a club or swing a club or hit a ball.
Okay, I'm standing. Let's go. Come on.
Okay, so one I do is a squat. Picture a squat like sitting in a chair, but on a golf course, if you're on the range, you just squat down and up. And I hate to make it sound like it's calisthenics, but in a way, it really is. It's trying to warm your body temperature up enough to where when you actually start swinging a club, you feel good. It feels loose and good, as opposed to grabbing a club and being tight.
But what does the squat have to do with swinging a club?
Well, think about
just getting your body heat up.
Well, you're getting your body warmed up, but what happens with your legs when you get in your golf posture? What do you do in your knees when you get in your golf posture?
Break them a little bit.
You squat. You bend the knees.
Okay.
The knees bend. You don't shift. Your knees don't shift forward. You kind of almost sit a little bit, and then from the sit, you bend over at the hips in your golf posture. So in a way, the golf swing to get in your address position involves a partial squat.
Good.
So the squat is very applicable for the golf swing. And what I do with a squat is I'll take my arms or I'll grab a club, and as I squat down, I raise my arms above my head. So it's like this little timed movement as I'm squatting down. My arms are going above my head. So guess what? I just did a total body warm-up.
Wow, that's good. I'm doing that now. Okay.
I mean, so if you do, so there's one exercise that you could do if you're in a hurry and you say, okay, God, I heard this guy on this podcast, got this crazy fitness guru dude who said, do some dynamic warm. That if you just did that and you did say 20 of them.
Okay.
And the pace is medium pace. It's not going ballistic and throwing out a rotator cuff. It's probably starting a little slower, to be honest with you, and then slowly picking up the speed. But the speed, even at the end, is probably 50% of how fast you could really go. So it's really controlled, very much like your golf swing.
Mm-hmm.
But a squat with an arm raise is very good. Another one is like a side lunge. And the reason why I say a side lunge is the hip joint for a lot of golfers is locked up, especially for the older golfers. So I see a lot of poor hip rotational range of motion in the older golfer. And hip rotation links to your core, and if your hips don't rotate, your core doesn't rotate, and you've got and all you have left is slapping at the golf ball, and you hit it 150 yards.
All right, so what does a side lunge mean?
A side lunge means you stand still,
mm-hmm.
and then you take one leg and you step to the side, and you squat down on the leg that you're stepping on,
mm-hmm.
and then what that does is the leg that isn't stepping gets elongated and gets stretched out through that inner groin, inner thigh area, and you come back to standing position. You do about 5 of those.
So wait, when you start, are your feet at shoulders distance or wider than that?
No. Well, the width of the feet when you stand doesn't really matter in a side lunge, but let's just, for the sake of saying it, say they're together.
Okay.
Your feet are together, and then you step out to the side,
mm-hmm.
and the foot that's stepping out to the side bends and kind of goes into a partial squat.
Okay. And I'm getting specific here because I'm doing this. Does your foot? Okay, I'm lunging off to my left here.
Okay.
Do my toes point in the direction where I'm lunging, or do they stay in front of me?
Well, you definitely don't want to do any kind of rotation that adds tension to a joint. So for all you people out there listening, anytime you do a movement, I don't care if it's a fitness exercise. You've got this guy that says he's a golf fitness guru in your area, and you're doing something, and you feel pain in a joint. Guess what? Stop immediately. That tells you you're doing something beyond the natural kinesthetics of your body. So you're taking a joint and you're manipulating it. So no, your feet they go where they go.
Okay.
When you step out to the side, your foot will be pointed outwards just slightly because that's very natural. But you don't manipulate it. You don't twist it one way or twist it another way. You just step out, bend the knee down, and you bend it only, say, 6 inches. It's not like a real deep squat you're going into.
Mm-hmm.
You're just bending down, and the bending down of the stepping leg creates that big stretch in the non-stepping leg that stays real straight.
Okay. And where are your hands when you're doing this one?
Oh, you can put them on your hips.
Okay.
You
so
can
it's
just
not
let
like
them hang at your sides.
You're not stretching those out or anything like that.
You're not doing anything with your hands.
Okay.
This is just kind of an inner thigh, kind of groin dynamic stretch.
Awesome. All right.
And you do 5 each side, and then the last one, because I don't want to get people thinking too many stretches. The last one is one of my favorites, and I call it toe touches with a golf club. Well, in the golf swing, the lower back is a big issue for everybody.
Hello.
So you need to dynamically warm up the lower back so that you don't have that pain from the first hole on. So what I do is I'll grab a club that just hangs in my fingertips horizontally in front of me, in front of my thighs, and then I slowly bend at the waist with maybe a slight little flex in the knees. I don't want to lock my legs. I don't want to feel pressure in my knee joint. So I'll have a little tiny bend in the knee, not much. Once I get that bend in the knee, I don't bend my legs anymore. I want to get all the movement hinging at my hip to stretch out my hamstrings, my glutes, and my lower back. So the movement, once you get that, picture almost like getting in your golf posture. You get that little flex in the knee and hold it. That's it. There's no more movement in the knee. From there, the hands with the club slide down your shins. And for people that are very tight in their lower back and hamstrings, maybe you go just past your knees. I don't want to tell anybody, do a toe touch.
Yeah.
And people say, oh, my God, I can't touch my toes. No, but I guarantee you if you do that stretch consistently, you will be going lower and lower and lower as time goes on, and your back will feel so good. But if going just beyond your kneecaps is how far you can go, that's it. Slowly come back up, go back down, up, down. So, again, dynamic meaning continuous movement. You don't stop. So you stretch down, and then you'll find out as the blood starts pumping through your hamstrings, glutes, and lower back, you'll be able to take each one a little lower, little lower, little lower. But again, stay within a range that you're comfortable with. Don't take it to the point of your lower back starts, you start getting a pinch in your lower back. The back of your knee joint starts hurting because you're going too far. Stay within your physical limit in that moment. And as you do it consistently day after day, then your limit's going to get stretched, which is good. It'll get further and further down your leg.
Great. Mike, this has been really informative and very helpful. And again, thank you for helping strengthening my back.
You're very welcome. I had a great time, Fred.